This restaurant is built on ancient Troma tribe, sacred Indian burial ground. Get out while you still can. Get out. Save yourselves. Save yourselves.
I'll have the sloppy Jose value meal, and please substitute the cola with a clockwork orange. Thank you.
Troma special, Troma special, Troma special, Troma special, Troma special. Okay, so welcome to this part 4 of our Troma special. This is Johnny and Adam for Food to Watch Films By.
Hi there.
Hi there. And of course we've got Pablo as well, who's joining us for this fourth part. So Pablo, are you there?
How do?
How's it going? How's tricks?
Very well, very well. I'm pretty excited. I've got a little bit of a surprise for you.
Oh yeah, what's that?
Yeah, you may or may not be aware, but I've been trying to track down a hero of mine, a certain Mr. Lloyd Kaufman, and after a series of attempts as elaborate and difficult as the next. What I've just decided to do is I just walked up behind him and clubbed him over the back of a head, threw him in the back of a van, and just got him back to my lair. So he seems all right now. I think he's waking up. So interview with Lloyd Kaufman. You can thank me later.
Lloyd, is that you?
Whoa.
Bloody hell, Jesus.
Oh, Jesus Christ. He put a ball gag in my mouth, for Christ's sake. What kind of pervert is this guy? I'm all tied up here. I'm naked and tied up in somebody's basement.
It does have a tendency to do that.
To be fair,
this is terrible.
He was naked when I knocked him over the head, to clarify. Right. That wasn't my doing. But
the ball gag.
No, I was not. I was not naked when suddenly I was going to my daughter's bar mitzvah, and the next thing I know, I'm naked in a basement with a ball gag in my mouth, and some guy standing over me with some sort of giant butt plug. This is not what this has nothing to do with food. I thought this was a food blog.
Yeah, apologies for that, Lloyd. Pablo has certain tendencies. Yeah. It doesn't represent the podcast or the UK in general.
Addison Heath told me that this was a very respectable food to watch films by, and that every 10th of the month that certain foods might not be legal, but that's not a big deal. But now, holy cow, when am I going to get out of here?
Well, do you think there's
and why does this guy down here with me have such a huge erection going? I don't get it. What's going to happen here? This is terrible.
To be honest, Lloyd,
I feel violated. I need a safe space.
That's a constant, Lloyd. It's part of my psychosexuality. It's always there. I'm hoping one day I'll be able to deflate it.
Sometimes it's easy not to fight it. Just don't clench whatever you do, Lloyd. Just relax and go with the flow.
Oh. You're going to be in for a surprise because I had a big Mexican dinner. So look out for the giant explosion. And by the way, this is not a pub PC. This is politically very incorrect, and I want a safe space. I want to go pet some puppies somewhere now. This is terrible. It's a trigger alert.
We'll honestly... We'll call for help, Lloyd. We will get you help. It might take a little while for them to get to you and to locate you. So in the meantime, shall we ask a few questions?
Yeah, I mean, do you mind, seeing as you're in such a hideous situation, you wouldn't mind us, asking you a few questions?
I'll do my best. It's hard to concentrate with this man's penis waving in my face.
I'll do my best. I'll just dance quietly in the background.
Okay, but can you take this? Maybe the ball gag could be a little. Maybe take it out from around my neck. It's very unpleasant.
Yeah, he's off a little bit, Pablo. Come on.
Yeah. Hospitality, Pablo.
He's off. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, what do you want to talk about?
Well, first of all, this is a total honour, Lloyd. Thank you very much for taking this time in such an unfortunate situation you've landed in, and I apologise for that profusely. But I suppose
I had it coming.
Yeah.
Where are you folks? Where are you based?
We are Leeds and Newcastle in the
north
Leeds.
of England.
Leeds.
Yeah,
The Death Valley girls who I saw performing in London, they just performed in Leeds. They are big supporters of Troma. Very talented band of non-males. They're terrific, and they just performed in Leeds like yesterday.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah,
I unfortunately I'm a bit out of the loop with stuff now. I have a young child, and it's sort of taken over my life, which I'm trying to reclaim.
Yeah, but mistake.
Leeds is a pretty good scene these days for independent art and culture in general. Really. It's really developed.
I think they were the first film festival in the UK to reach out to Romeo and Juliet back in the day.
Yeah,
Leeds Film Festival.
Yeah, no, it's an excellent film festival. It's brilliant. And I suppose
great festival.
Yeah. And I suppose for any listeners that we've got who aren't so familiar with Troma, heaven forbid, and I'm sure that there aren't that many. What is it? What is Troma all about?
Troma is the oldest independent movie studio, and 44 years. And to thank our fans for 44 years of support, we have given them as a gift 400 free movies on Troma Movies on YouTube. Movies like The Toxic Avengers, Class of Nukem High, Death by Temptation, Romeo and Juliet, The First Turn On, Poultrygeist, Night of the Chicken Dead, which concerns a lot of chicken Indian zombies in fast food, which is related to food. Many of our films have lots of food in them, and famous people have come out of Troma. Samuel L. Jackson, James Gunn, who just brought you Guardian of the Galaxy Volume 2. Yeah. Eli Roth, Hostel and Cabin Fever. Oliver Stone got into movies because of me. The battlefield is full of victorious geniuses who have been issued forth from the loins of Troma Entertainment, the 44-year-old, the only independent movie studio, as far as I know, with any longevity. We are the only ones left after the evil conglomerates and the evil governments have policed out everybody else with their monopolistic politics.
Yeah. Well, and it's fantastic that now, through YouTube...
They're going to get rid of you, too. You'll be gone also because they're getting rid of net neutrality. They're getting rid of net neutrality on the internet. And your government's going to get rid of you also on the internet because they're going to start charging you for websites. They're going to get rid of net neutrality, the free, open, and diverse internet. Yeah. And if I were you, I would start going after your elected representatives to preserve the free, open, and diverse internet and preserve net neutrality where everybody is equal on the internet. And that's Troma. That's one of the reasons we are fighting online, is to try to make sure that net neutrality is preserved. And in addition to thanking our fans by giving them 400 free movies on Troma Movies on YouTube, we want fans and you guys to do everything we can to preserve the last democratic medium, that is the internet. And without that, we're all finished.
Yeah, well said. I mean, it's funnily enough, it's something we've just been discussing earlier because it affects, podcasts. It affects independent art of all types.
Think about it's not just Troma Entertainment. It's the free, open, and diverse internet where everybody's equal means that if something is good, like Kickstarter, it can get into the public consciousness. If all the rich people are on the if the rich people create a superhighway that's too expensive for the startups and for you and for me, then there'll be no innovation. There will be no cures for cancer. There will be no Kickstarters of the future. There'll be no Netflixes, right? Netflix came out of net neutrality. So did the other services that are things like GoFundMe, and look at all the inventions that come out of things like Indiegogo, and so we're fucked
Yeah.
In
summary.
net neutrality goes away.
In short, we
So
are.
we all have to fight. We all fight for independent art. Fight for independent art, for independent points of view, and for independent commerce, because they will all go away. So, and the proof of that is we're the only ones left. Tell me, there are no other independent movie studios that are independent. There are movie studios that are called independent, but they collude with the vassals of the giant devil-worshipping international media conglomerates.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say
how's that for food to watch films by?
that is very tasty, Lloyd. Very tasty.
Yeah, it's delicious.
But I mean, it's that kind of
waking up.
Yeah, well, as I was about to say earlier, it's it's the kind of the 90s is the time where your bigger media started to kind of ape the independent kind of aesthetic and kind of give people the impression that they were buying an independent cinema, and really it was a studio process film, and they were buying up a lot of properties just to put them out that way.
They use the Sundance Film Festival as a vassal to put out what they've stolen the word independent. Independent now means $12 million budget, produced by the son of Tom Hanks in association with Sony Classics, which is, as you know, a division of Sony, a giant conglomerate. That's what they call independent. The Sundance Film Festival is a propaganda machine for the majors to distribute their movies that nobody wants. And Cannes has become even worse. Cannes, at least, we've gotten beaten up at both places. We've been arrested and put in jail in Sundance. Not I, but volunteers for handing out leaflets, right? I think there's something called freedom of speech. Yeah. But you're not allowed to hand out leaflets at Sundance. You get put in jail. Toxie cannot have a mop at Sundance because it's a dangerous weapon, a mop. We can't play an accordion. Right, an accordion is a dangerous musical instrument. It's taken away by the police. But right up the street, they've got shitty cover bands playing music from Star Wars. Right, that's okay. So if you're going to be an independent artist, such as Uncle Lloyd here, you're going to be in serious trouble.
I mean, but this is why we're so humble to have you on this show, because the work that you do. Everything that you stand for, everything that Troma stands for, is just, it's inspiring to anyone who wants to do anything creative. Anyone who doesn't have the funds to do it, the power to do it.
I mean, and what we try to use this podcast for as well, Lloyd, is really as a platform for people to support truly independent films as well. We have friends who make independent films. You mentioned Addison Heath. Yeah. Some fantastic independent movies. Mondo
Yakuza. Mondo Yakuza, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Have you seen Mondo Yakuza? Oh.
Of course, it's great.
Yeah, it's great.
I'm probably the only person other than you who's seen it, though, because of the conspiracy of elites that prevent anything that's independent from getting to the public. It's very discouraging. And
I don't know if you saw chocolate strawberry vanilla at all, because in my mind that was very reminiscent of it felt it had a very Troma vibe to it.
Hey, Deadpool's got a Troma vibe to it. Guardians of the Galaxy's got a Troma vibe to it. Eli Roth's movie, I mean, half of the major movies have Troma vibes, right? R-rated, talking to the camera, breaking the fourth wall, putting in disfigured faces, having blind women, and the directors say they're fans of Troma. They love Troma, but that doesn't obscure the fact that anyone who's truly independent is being tossed on the trash heap of history and being ignored. We're non-people. We don't exist. It's like Russia. You don't work within the system. They take your passport away. They don't kill you anymore, but you don't exist. So that's where you and I and the independent artists, the real independent artists, we are on the trash heap of the industry, because nobody knows we're around. That's because the pathways to the public are very minimal for us. Return to Nukem High Volume 1 and Return to Nukem High Volume 2 have been premiered at the Museum of Modern Art in New York, and now with the second half, the Return to Newcomb High, aka Volume 2, the Museum of the Moving Image is going to premiere it before it goes into movie theaters. But maybe there's a theater, maybe you could tell your fans in Leeds to tell their local movie theater they want some Troma movies. The Prince Charles Cinema in London plays our movies, and it's always full, and it's a lot of fun, and I usually come over for it. Maybe there's a cinema in Leeds that would like to play our new movies, and I could probably come over for it. But I think, if we call the theater, the cinemas don't return our phone calls or our emails. But if 5 or 6 fans ask for Return to Newcomb High, aka Volume 2, which just had its premiere in Cannes, then the theater, they tend to listen to the customers, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So maybe you can get some theaters going for... our movies are made for theaters. They're not made for the small screen. They're made for the movie theater. So it would be good to get some theaters in the UK other than Aberystwyth and the usual ones we go to.
Yeah. So Hyde Park Picture House in Leeds, if you're listening.
Yeah.
The thing is as well,
and
these theatres, if they're playing these movies, they'll be packed. Go on, sorry, Pablo.
Well, I was going to say Tyneside Cinema in Newcastle as well is a potential potential.
Well, can you guys go talk to those theaters? Go and talk to the theaters and tell them, and I'll come over and we'll do we'll do a little event between food to watch films by curating Troma's Return to Newcomb High and Return to Newcomb High, aka Volume 2, a 2-part event film that took 7 years to make.
Yeah.
And it's better than 99%. It's better than 99% of the movies coming out of the industry. I guarantee you that.
Yeah.
By the way, I just saw a great British film.
Oh, yeah.
I saw a wonderful British film. By Ken Loach.
I, Daniel Blake.
I, Daniel Blake.
What's the name?
Oh, that's based in
I, Daniel Blake. That was a great film. That was terrific, but I don't even think it played in this country. Maybe one night somewhere in New York.
That's
it's a wonderful film.
In my general stomping ground of Newcastle, that's where that's based. That's
Newcastle. Yep, it's great. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's very touching and very realistic. It's exactly what I think a lot of people are going through at this point. A lot of hardworking, honest citizens, because of the conspiracy of elites, the labor, the bureaucratic, and the corporate elites sucking dry everybody's intellectual and spiritual and economic capital. The poor bastard in the movie who's worked all his life is ruined. He's ruined by the system. It's terrific. It's great.
Yeah.
Very depressing, but beautiful.
Well, superbly depressing. That was the review that I had there. It was superb but depressing.
I think that's a very worthy summing up of it. But he's a great filmmaker. Mike Lee is a great filmmaker. You guys have some great filmmakers, without a doubt.
We do, yeah, absolutely. I mean, and even in UK cinemas, unfortunately, Daniel Blake just didn't get the attention that it deserves. Apart from the occasional independent cinemas screening it, the main cinema screens.
Yeah, I agree. 10 years ago, Ken Loach would have had a huge event in the United States. Right? Anybody who's doing anything slightly independent, unless it's got a Rupert Murdoch or somebody involved, forget about it. You're not going to make any money. At least you guys have the government giving a small number of people some, financing. But here in the States, there's nothing for anyone who's going to be innovative. There's no anyone who wants to change the world a little bit. It's not going to happen for you. Here, it's all about safe, politically correct movies that can play at Sundance that might have been pertinent. Anti-smoking movies, right? Like people don't know about cigarettes, right? The the themes that are in today's so-called independent movies are totally safe. They're not going to challenge anybody or anything. They keep the status quo, or same bureaucracy, the same elite of corporate players, and the same bureaucratic elected officials who are gorging themselves at the public trough. The same basic club of elites will continue to take more and more of the economy, take more and more of the economy and of the communications industry, and eventually we'll all just get baby food. That's pretty much what we get now.
Spoon fed.
And this is the point that we've made on new.
What do you guys think of Black Mirror? What do you think of Black Mirror?
It's absolute genius. I love Black Mirror. It's yeah.
Do you like it?
Yeah, very much.
That's great.
I thought the most recent series 3 was amazing. I thought just
terrific.
So unique.
It's great.
But
I mean, there are great things coming out of the mainstream. But again, Black Mirror, as good as it is, it's not Jean-Luc Godard. Let's put it that way. But it's great. I mean, it's very entertaining and it's it's wonderful. But it's still very safe. The Toxic Avenger today would never get any kind of distribution.
No. Right?
In 1983, it became a succès fou in 1983 and 1984 because there were plenty of independent distributors, and the field was open. If you had something entertaining and thought-provoking and revolutionary, you could actually make a profit. You could get to a public. You could get to the public in every country except for the fascist and corrupt Russia and China and Africa, and South America, of course. But you could at least get to the free world. But now you cannot. The Toxic Avenger came out today. If Mel Brooks came out with Blazing Saddles, it wouldn't get made, right? But big PC police and the big conglomerates wouldn't go near it. Same with Toxic Avenger. It's a pity.
Absolutely. I mean, I suppose one thing we can be thankful for is that it was made in an era where, distribution of those movies was possible, and it is in our lives, and it's we're in our 30s, and by various means, whether it's initially through the 90s animation Toxic Crusaders, or however people come across these types of movies, it's still inspiring and still appealing to generations as we go forward. So I suppose on a positive spin, at least it exists. Yeah. At least it's there for us.
What I was going to say is, to release it now, if you make a slight title change and make it Brexit Avenger, it would probably do relatively well to at least 52% of this country.
That's true.
The trouble is, no matter what you or I or Troma could have Gone with the Wind, we could have Charles Laughton movies, we could have Shakespeare, we could write Romeo and Juliet, and we wouldn't get it to the public unless we did it in partnership with a vassal of one of the giant devil-worshipping international media conglomerates. That's the only way that you're going to get your film out there in a meaningful, profitable way. It is a cartel. It's an oligopoly. It is a world of economic fascism, and forget about if you're going to make movies, you better be prepared to live in a refrigerator carton on the highway to the airport, because to Heathrow, and that's okay for me. I'm happy to do that. I'm doing it. I'm making movies, but I know what the countryside looks like, and anyone who disagrees with me, let's see how long their movie studio lasts. Yeah. It won't last. Won't last 6 months. They'll make one movie and fold because not because their movie's bad. They'll make a great movie, but they won't be permitted to live. They won't let me live.
But just on the topic of Toxic Avenger, we've noticed there's the Toxic Avenger musical starting this year. Is that correct?
It's coming out in the UK.
It's coming back to London.
Yeah.
The Toxic Avenger musical played in London. It's coming back again September 28th to a bigger venue, as they say. This was written by David Bryan and Joe DiPietro. David is a member of Bon Jovi. Underground music group.
How
it's great too. They've done a wonderful job mainstreaming the Toxic Avenger. The show is hilarious. It's delightful. The Troma fans with the things in their noses and tattoos and Prince albums Alberts, they love the Toxic Avenger musical, and the little old ladies who go to see Matilda, they also like the Toxic Avenger musical. It's a wonderful show, and I hope you get to see it. I hope it comes to Leeds.
I would love to see it.
It was. They just played it in. They played the Toxic Avenger musical in Edinburgh. I couldn't go, but it's coming back to played a year in New York. It's coming back to Broadway, and they did a great job. Yeah. They did a great job in the same way that the Toxic Crusaders. Hey, the Toxic Crusaders cartoon was brilliant. It's great. Yeah. Who thought a cartoon based on a movie where a young boy's head is squashed by the wheel of an automobile, the original Toxic Avenger, that would be made into a delightful environmental cartoon show for 5-year-old children. But it exists. It's funny as hell. Great writing. Great acting. It's a great cartoon, the Toxic Crusaders, and it appeals to children as well as adults. It's terrific, and it's all free. The Toxic Crusader cartoons and 400 other movies are all free on Troma Movies on YouTube to thank our fans. And by the way, we have a paid service. We have our own little Netflix called Troma Now. Yeah. Troma Now. Watch.troma.now. No, sorry, watch.troma.com. Go to watch.free. So you can. They're all world premiere movies, and we got a new Irish movie that goes up this month called The Middle Finger. It's hilarious. It's great, and all of the movies that are world premiere movies on Troma Now are sort of Troma of the next generation. They're all the James Gunns and Eli Roth and Oliver Stones of the future, and Trey Parker and Matt Stone. Yeah. Right, they did Cannibal the Musical. Then they went on to South Park. The future Trey Parkers and Matt Stones are all on Troma Now, so you can see them all for free the first month, and then if you have a few bucks, it's about £4 a month, and you can see it on Roku and all the modern devices. So check it out and support Troma and support the independent filmmakers who are trying to create careers in the midst of this fascist, elitist, awful PC police world that we're living in. Yeah. So Troma Now is terrific, but you never heard of it, right?
Oh no,
we have.
I didn't see it. The Leeds Journal didn't write about it. Cannes certainly didn't. No. There wasn't one journalist who came to see Troma at Cannes that I know of. I mean, maybe you'll find some things, but all the mainstream media has cut back so that they can only cover the big movies. They don't have anyone to go see. They don't even have anyone to review Return to Nukem High when it played in London.
No.
I've only been making movies for 50 years. Why would you want to waste time reviewing a movie by Lloyd Kaufman, who's been making movies that influenced James Gunn, Trey Parker, and Matt Stone, Oliver Stone, Samuel, who have brought you people like Samuel Jackson and Marissa Tomei and Vincent D'Onofrio? Why would you be interested in reviewing a movie made by someone who's made over 100 movies, whose movies have been retrospected in the Cinema Française, British Film Institute? I've done master class 2 days at Oxford, Aberystwyth University. Why would what possible interest of any critic or journalist could Lloyd Kaufman have, right?
No, exactly. You'd have to be out of your mind.
You'd have to be doing a podcast.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, exactly.
50 years, and I still get and the Cannes Film Festival sent cops and thugs to beat us up.
Yeah.
No.
I'm 71 years old, right? Yeah. 71 years old. I had to turn over my driver's license to the thugs at the Cannes Film Festival.
Really?
No. Well, I mean, it's slightly ridiculous. I mean, I remember getting into Troma myself as a young teen in England. I think they had a Troma Cafe. I don't know if it was on.
That's right, Tromaville Cafe. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just
20 years ago. There was a little bit of independent. There was a little bit of room for independent art. Now it's economic censorship, economic blacklisting. That's what it is. It's economic blacklisting. Your government, my government, and the giant corporations have created a club, and if you're part of that club, you might be permitted to live for a short period. But the minute you start doing anything slightly original, that the suits feel, the Lilliputians will bring you down. It doesn't matter who you are. Eventually, they will destroy you. The battlefield is littered with the careers of very good directors and producers because they tried to do something slightly thought-provoking.
Yeah, and
I find it's ridiculous that you would think that 20 years ago things were acceptable enough. And I remember that they showed Sergeant Kabuki Man, NYPD. I think Terra Firma was on there as well, if not that. We had them all on there, and it's ridiculous to think that 20 years ago that's something that's okay, but we've moved backwards as a society rather than forwards to the point where we're now prescribed what we are allowed to like and not allowed to like before we've even been given the option of a decision. This is what you're like. If you like a comedy, this is a comedy. If you like a horror, this is a horror. If you like a action film, this is an action film.
This is the age of Adam Sandler. Anything beyond that is not encouraged. Baby food movies. That's what you get. But on the other hand, there are some good ones. I'm not saying they're all bad, but there's some great people in the mainstream, and James Gunn and Eli Roth and Trey Parker, and they're the best people in the world. But they make up 1/10 of 1% of the industry, and the rest are just some of the earth.
And when you go to the cinema and you've got 50 screens, and there's basically 25 of them showing one movie and 10 of them showing one movie, you don't have that option which you used to have. Even with much smaller cinemas, less screens, but you would have more choices.
So that brings us back to the internet. The internet is a free, open, and diverse democratic medium where Troma, your food to watch films by, and Disney all have the same opportunity to attract eyeballs. Yeah. But and so we have movies that get 4 million people watching them on our Troma movies on our free channel. Some of our movies, like the Getting Lucky, I think 4 million people have looked at that movie. No problem, but because it's net neutrality governed. But when that goes away, that'll be the last opportunity for us to get our art in front of people's eyeballs. And after all, isn't that what art's all about? People shouldn't be making art for money alone. They should be making art to be seen. I assume that's why Van Gogh painted. He didn't paint to cut his ear off and to kill himself. He painted to have people see his art. He just had some unfortunate mental problems. Wow. But, the artist. The important thing for the artist is for people to look at his, her, or its art. That's enough. So without net neutrality, then nobody will look at anybody's art except for Star Wars. That'll be it. You'll have baby food forever.
Yeah. And that's and again.
I mean, the real art, the independent art might be there, but it won't be on the superhighway that the public will go to, the fast superhighway. Yeah. It'll be on the bumpy dirt road that takes forever to buffer, and nobody's going to go there. They're not going to. It'd be like some shitty TV channel. You don't want to go to a TV channel where the reception sucks, and that's what they'll put. That's where we'll be. Yeah. Unfortunately,
have you
without net neutrality, we'll all be nowhere.
Yeah.
Lloyd, we appreciate your time. We'd just like to ask you we've got a few listener questions. That we'd like to pose for you, if that's all right.
Thank you very much.
We've been
again. Thank you for listening to my sad truth.
No.
That's the truth.
No, and but yeah, we have been in communication with some of the communities, the Troma communities, the listeners, fans, big fans of yours as well. We got huge responses from some of the polls we put out there and questions. But yeah, we do have some listener questions, and we would obviously like to pose them to you.
Well, fire away.
Yeah, thanks.
Fire away, and again, thank you and your fans for finding Troma and appreciating Troma. It's it's real. It's not bought. Yeah. To get an Oscar, you buy it. To get a Banff, you buy it. To get a César, you buy it, basically, right? Or you're in the club. This is real. What you got from the heart, and thank you.
Exactly. Well, thank you again, Mike.
Thanks so much. And thank you, fans. Thank you to your fans. That's wonderful.
Absolutely. So we have a question here from Peter Scott. He asks, is it true that Toxic Avenger 2 and 3 were originally filmed as one? And would you ever consider releasing a special edition, editing both the films back together as one film?
We got no money to do anything except make The Tempest, and hopefully, we have to pay people here, so we won't be in. Unfortunately, that would be a great. Putting the Toxic 2 and 3 as one movie would be wonderful, but we can't. We don't have that luxury. We can't do what the Universal Pictures can do with their classics. We have no money.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to go ahead and do it, Peter. Is that his name, Peter Scott?
Peter Scott.
Yeah.
Peter, you go and do it.
Well, yeah.
You go and put them together, and it's a
them
great
together.
idea. Go and do it, Peter. You go right ahead and do
So
it.
Peter, go find your bank
Yes,
manager. Get a loan.
Crack
Well,
on.
I was going to say, if Peter, if I'm not mistaken, is part of a Horror Vision type cinema group in the northeast of England who actually put on regular events via Screen Age Kicks, which is so that might actually be something that could very well bear fruit in the future.
Yeah.
I'm on all Troma's Facebook and Twitter, and I answer all my own Twitter. I do it myself. Facebook I don't really do, but I have one. But Twitter, anyone who wants to talk to me, find me on Twitter. You guys have my assistant's email. You're welcome to give it out to Peter Scott or anybody you want. Sure. The whole idea is for people to see our movies. So
Fantastic.
we'll be very happy if we can, maybe I can come there and we'll do the Prince Charles in London. We do Leeds. We do we'll carry coals to Newcastle. Whatever you want.
But it's talk like that which makes me think I might actually let you go before the end of this.
Oh yeah, of
I
course.
I might actually unbuckle those chains, but we'll see.
Well, I'm rather enjoying it. I want I like the ball gag back in my mouth at the end of it.
I'm just still
It's kind
impressed
of-
that.
Is the constant? I was going to say, is the constant erection still
I
putting you
know.
off,
I
or
was
is
about to say
that,
I'm quite impressed. Pablo's managed to keep that up this whole time, but yeah.
considering I'm 71 years old, I still can get it up, huh, Pablo?
It's a form of sexuality. I can't stop it. It's part of my compulsion.
Talking of staying power
Pablo's.
and longevity, this leads us nicely into our next listener
Yes.
question, which
Oh.
is from Pete Doherty, who asks, we've kind of touched upon this already, but we'll pose it to you anyway. What do you think has made Troma stand the test of time for so many years?
Because we make movies that we believe in. We make movies from the heart, and the movies that we produce that we don't make ourselves, like we're making a movie in Portugal right now, directed by Fernando Ale, called Mutant Blast, and that movie comes from his heart and his soul and his brain. He made a movie that we distribute called Banana Motherfucker, which is free. It's free. It's hilarious. It's on Troma Movies if you want to see it. It's wonderful. But so he'll be directing, and it will be his. There'll be no censorship. We're not making him do anything that he doesn't want to do. I've given him some script suggestions, and that's it. And he doesn't have to take the suggestions. So keep an eye on it. It's in Portuguese, of course, Portuguese language. Mutant Blast. It should be ready in 2018, probably the spring. And the Portuguese government put up about half the budget.
Wow.
So how cool is that? I don't see the United States government giving a squat.
No.
Yeah. So Portugal.
Yeah, good for you.
We go to Portugal. To go to Portugal, a country with 4 million people. That's half the population of New York to get financial support. That's the only time we've
crazy,
ever
that.
gotten any financial support from the government in the world. So good for Portugal,
Yeah, fantastic.
which is a wonderful country.
It's beautiful. Beautiful country. So if anything's come out of this interview, people move to Portugal.
Yeah.
Did I answer Peter's question? I can't remember did I answer it?
Yeah. I think we've kind of
I
touched upon it.
think that's the answer. To thine own self be true, right? A phrase coined by one William Shakespeare, who wrote that best-selling book, 101 money-making screenplay ideas, otherwise known as Hamlet. That's the secret.
That's the secret.
Do what you believe in.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. Well, and I think that is part
Good
of,
question. Very good question.
Yeah, and I think that is part of Troma's charm. Is you can feel so many influences in the work that you do, but then your work has just clearly inspired so many other people, and that's what's made it stand the test of time, and
and makes it all worthwhile. If your interest comes from your heart, you're not. I mean, what really pisses me off is I get more positive reinforcement for 2 seconds in Guardians of the Galaxy, right? 2 seconds. I had one word, murderer, murderer, right? That's it, and I get more more praise for that than for 50 years of making movies, and that makes to me that's a disgrace.
Yeah, and again, thankfully, there's still a lot of people out there who know you for more than just a quick glass of Guardians of the Galaxy. One of those people, in fact, is we have a question from Stagger Lee. Oh, if that is his real name.
Stagger Lee?
Stagger Lee,
I mean, from Mississippi John Hurt.
Exactly.
He wrote Stagger Lee, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly, yeah. So Stagger Lee.
Mississippi John Hurt, Stagger Lee. Well, great. Good.
Yeah, and also
Murder Ballads.
Fantastic Nick Cave
of course.
song as well. So Stagger Lee asks, what would happen if I fly to New York and visit Troma headquarters?
We get tourists all year, especially during the summer. We get a lot of tourists. They're usually young people who are here on some sort of vacation. Very often they bring their parents who don't know what the hell's going on. But so we would accept you with open arms. You'd meet some nice people here who love movies, and except for Michael Hers and one or two other people, everybody is in their early 20s. And you would have a good time if you showed up. And I hope that your listeners will contact us and come visit and see where the magic happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Forget Disneyland.
Yep.
Troma headquarters. So
Tromaville, baby.
We don't charge. No one has died on a Troma tour as opposed to Disneyland. Yeah. We don't charge money either. Disneyland charges you.
Exactly. So yeah, next time
you
we're
don't
in New
do
York,
Troma dollars.
What's that?
You don't do Troma dollars like the Disney dollars.
No.
So thank you so much for your time, Lloyd. It's been seriously an absolute pleasure to have you.
Yeah, well, tell Pablo again, and let's have some good action down there in his basement before I leave. I also wear my clothes.
Well, I was going to say the plan's off. I was going to let you go, Lloyd, but that sounds like a much better offer. So I'll see you later, chaps. We'll let Lloyd get back to my business.
Fantastic. We'll pray for you, Lloyd.
You said it. Stephen Hawkins, Lloyd Kaufman, and Pablo are going to have one hell of an orgy right now.
Wow.
Thank you very much, and thanks so much for your wonderful food to watch films by, and spread the Troma love, and hopefully I'll be able to come over there and we'll present together.
Yep.
We'll present Return to Nukem High and Return to Nukem High, aka Volume 2. You Food to Watch Films by should curate the Troma event, and we'll come over.
It's a deal, and we will make it happen.
And I'm about to literally spread the Troma love any second.
Oh,
I can see all 3.5 inches of you doing that right now. It's very exciting.
You've been very kind.
That's fully erect, by the way.
Yeah,
I just measured it. It's millimeters. But
that's the shadow cast on the wall. That's not even the literal.
Yeah, well, Pablo is.
It's more than nubbin.
Hung like a.
More than nubbin.
Pablo is.
wow.
From what I'm seeing, Pablo is hung like a baguette. On that happy note, I think I better get with Pablo while he's excited.
Well,
all right. Thank you very much, and talk to you soon.
Thanks, Lloyd.
Thank you
so much.
Lloyd.
Enjoy.
That's brilliant.
Thank you,
Come
Lloyd.
visit us if you're in New York. Come visit the Troma building, and I'm on Twitter, and just.
If I get to sell my children, then I might be able to
put you in touch.
But until then.
Well, Pablo is always welcome.
Oh yeah,
as is Adam and Johnny.
Yeah.
all anytime.
That's
all right, thank you very much, and good luck in Leeds.
Thanks
It's
again,
a wonderful
Lloyd.
town.
Thank you so much, Lloyd.
See you later.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Right, well, that brings us to an end of our Troma special, and what an honour it was to wrap it up with the great man himself, Lloyd Kaufman. You can't quite believe it.
I know. Yeah.
But we're
Lloyd, I mean, should we be worried? Is it going to be okay with Pablo, do you think?
well. No, I think they'll be all right. I think Lloyd can hold his own.
I just don't want history to remember us as a people who were an accessory in Lloyd Kaufman's.
He seemed like a bit of a kinky guy. I think him and Pablo.
Yeah, it was getting into it at the end, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was a little bit creepy.
All I'm saying is he didn't take that butt plug out for the entire interview. But credit to you, Lloyd.
Yeah, credit to you, and we salute you, and we wish you well in your.
I suppose if you spent 50 years being fucked in the arse by corporate America, you're going to be able to fit 1 or 2 butt plugs up there. Yeah. So we salute you, Lloyd. Thank you very much again for taking the time to speak with us.
And I've just realised we've completely forgot to announce the number 1 Troma film. We were supposed to do that when we were talking to Lloyd.
I was just about to dig into my mojito.
Your mojito?
Mojito?
Well, I'm afraid it's mojito. No.
Oh, no.
This is Adam's Top 10.
That's right, folks. 10.
Okay, right. I suppose we better finish
this
this off because if nothing else, we always finish.
Yeah.
So, number 1.
The number 1 Troma film, as voted by our listeners and
communities. What else is it going to be? It's the Toxic Avenger.
Of course
It's going to be Toxic.
Yeah.
What else can you say? I mean, we've discussed it in previous episodes. Is one of my favourite. Definitely one of my favourite monster films of all time. But certainly one of my favourite independent films ever. Love it so much. Can't count other ways. I'd die for you, Toxic. And all I can say, this is not your time. But yeah, man, it's just awesome. I mean, a couple of sequels at the back end of that, not as strong as the first, but then Citizen Toxic as well.
Yeah,
fantastic. Lemmy introduced into the Troma universe there as well. Yeah. Man, yeah, Toxic Avenger. We love you, as do our listeners. So good voting. I wholeheartedly agree with you.
Yeah, and thanks again for all the people who contributed to this Troma special, all the listeners, all the people on those communities who voted on the top 10, who sent through their top questions that we could ask Lloyd. That was we appreciate that big time. We will do everything we can to make that Leeds Film Festival get Troma over here and do something. Great if we could. We'll see.
If you're listening to this and you want to support any movement along those lines, throughout these episodes, we've included contributions from listeners, from the listener posts, the questions you posed to Lloyd. We need to continue that movement of people to really get these type of films out there and seen. There's some fantastic art out there. People are making fantastic movies. It's all for nothing unless it's got a pair of eyes on them. So anything you want to do to help us, get in touch. Let us know. You can hit us up on Twitter.
FTWFB podcast.
Yep. Email address, which is
FTWFB whatever at Yahoo.
Carrier pigeon. Message in a bottle. Any means necessary. Get in touch. Let us know, and we'll see what we can do. And if this has been your first exploration of Troma, we hope we've inspired you, and we hope that you are now a lifelong fan. Yeah, such a fantastic. You're never too old to get into Troma. Yeah, you may be too young, but you can never be too old. Indeed. And on that note, Adam, should we share a few cocktails and? I don't know where you were going. See the night off. Yep, let's. I'll have a mojito. Yeah. Bye. Bye. You've been listening to Food to Watch Films By, brought to you by Johnny, Adam and Pablo. If you like what you hear, then don't forget to leave us a review on iTunes, share an episode with a friend or a family member, and basically just continue to enjoy our podcast and love us. Otherwise, we will find you and we will kill you. Thanks for listening. Bye.